So you have to write the equation of parabola, and you have been given this focus and directrix of the same parabola. So can you tell me, using this information, how can you find out the equation of parabola? Isn't this focus alone is not enough to tell you the equation of parabola?
It will be y square is equal to 4x and a is equal to 6.
Good. So as soon as I know that focus is 6, 0, so I know that focus is lying on the positive direction of x-axis. So this has to be right-handed parabola. As soon as I know that focus is 6, 0, so this focus tells me that a is equals to 6. Hence, the equation will be y square is equals to 24x for question number 7. So, using the information given, focus is a very important information. If you have focus, you do know which side of the parabola, which of the parabola is given, or what do you need to find out. You know that. Solve question number 10. You know what focus is. Mass.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me in question number 8? Do you have NCERT right now with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Come on page number 246. 247 actually. Question
Yes,
number
sir.
8. So focus is given, right? Can you tell me, using the information that you have the coordinate of focus as 0, -3? So what type of parabola is this?
It's downwards.
It's downward parabola, correct? And what is the value of A?
A is -3.
A is -3, or rather we can say that A is 3, but in this case minus A would be taken, right?
Yes, sir.
So what would be the equation?
Equation x square equals to -4ay.
-12, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Aram, question number 9. Question number 9, check this question. And vertex and focus is given. If focus is given, we can identify which type of parabola it is. So using that information, can you tell me the type of parabola? Focus is 3, 0. Focus is lying on positive y coordinate.
Right hand side.
No, see, focus is lying on upward, positive y. So if focus is on positive y, it should be something like this. Sorry. That is how focus can lie on positive y. This has to be upwards. If focus is on positive x, this has to be right-handed. Focus is on negative x, then left-handed. And if focus is on negative y, then parabola is downwards. Okay. So in third question, we have focus on positive y, hence the parabola is upwards. And what's the value of a for ninth? What's the value of a? Anyone can tell me this? Yeah.
So how is the 10th one upward parabola?
No, 10th one should be focus is minus 2,0, negative, downward parabola. Ninth one is upward because the focus is on positive y. But in 10th, we have focus
Yeah,
on
sorry, I
negative.
meant 9th one.
Yes. And the value of a would be 3 because focus is a, 0. No, my bad. In
Yeah,
ninth
so
is focus is
9th one.
yeah. In ninth one focus is on positive x. So it should be what? Right-handed. Right? It should be right-handed parabola. And right-handed parabola is x square is equals to 4ay. And focus is a, 0, which is 3, 0 in this case. So this is x square is equals to 12. And in last one, 10th one is it's downwards. And equation would be y square is equals to minus 8x. Right? Y square is equals to minus 8x. Now let's solve question number 11th and 12th.
So x square is equal to 12y or x square is equal to negative of 12y. The focus is 0, minus 3, right?
It should be first of all y square is equals to 12x.
Sir, which question was that? You said?
I said for 10th, focus is minus 2, 0.
Okay,
So,
sir. Yeah.
So it should be y square is equals to minus 8x.
Yeah, minus it. Okay.
Now let's solve question number 11th and 12th. 11th is vertex is 0, 0. So we know vertex is 0, 0 in all the cases. So we can't differentiate just alone on the basis of vertex. Now vertex passing through 2, 3 and axis is given. Axis is along x-axis. Along x-axis mean? Can you tell me? Along x-axis से क्या हमें कुछ पता चला किस टाइप का पैराबोला हो सकता है? Along x-axis.
Either right side or left side?
Yes. या तो राइट हैंडेड पैराबोला होगा या तो लेफ्ट हैंडेड पैराबोला होगा. तो राइट हैंडेड होगा तो y स्क्वायर इक्वल्स टू 4x होगा. लेफ्ट हैंडेड होगा तो y स्क्वायर इक्वल्स टू माइनस 4x होगा. क्या आप बता सकते हो राइट हैंडेड या लेफ्ट हैंडेड में से कौन सा होगा? ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ द पॉइंट. पॉइंट जो the point which is given to us is 2, 3. Now, where does 2, 3 lies? 2,3 lies in the first quadrant. So which type of parabola it should be? Yes, anyone? Which type of parabola it should be?
So it will be in the like y square is equal to 4x.
Y square is equal to 4x, right?
Yeah.
Because the point through which the parabola is passing lies in first quadrant. The point is 2,3. Hence, we can say that the parabola has to be right-handed parabola. So parabola is passing through 2,3 and axis is along x-axis. It has to be right-handed. Now, how can we find out the value of A? Yes. Tarif, Jania, Abdullah.
Yes, sir.
Anyone? Tell me, how can we find out the value of A in this question?
So
Question number.
you can put 2.
Yes. Yeah,
So I'm not
Abdullah.
sure, but I think you can put 2 in the place of x and
3 in the place of y. Right? Yeah, because parabola is passing through this point 2,3, so we can put x as 2 and y as 3, and through that we can find out the value of A. So it should be 9 is equals to 4 into A into 2, and A would be 9 by 8. And if your A is 9 by 8, the equation would be y square is equals to 9 by 2x, or 2y square is equals to 9x. Similarly, solve question number 11 also. I'm in 12th. Solve question number 12. Parabola is symmetric with respect to y-axis and passing through 5,2. Can I clear all of this?
So
So vertex is 0, 0, which is pretty much in all of the cases. Passing through 5,2. Okay. So passing through 5,2 माने first quadrant. तो या तो parabola upward होगा, या तो parabola right-handed होगा, या तो parabola upward होगा, या तो right-handed होगा, क्योंकि first quadrant से pass कर रहा है. Now symmetric with respect to y-axis and symmetric with respect to y-axis. Now, if the parabola is symmetric with respect to y-axis, which type of parabola it should be? and it is passing through 5,2.
Upward.
It should be upward, right? This is the case. So the parabola has to be upward. Passing through 5,2, that is passing through first quadrant, hence upward or right-handed. And symmetric with respect to y-axis, so that is upward or downward. Hence the parabola should be upward. And if the parabola is upward, it means the equation has to be x squared is equals to 4ay. Now it is passing through 5,2, so you can put x as 5, 25 by 8 as the value of it. If you put it, you would get x square, or rather 2x square is equals to 25. हाँ जी, तो यहाँ पे हमारा पैराबोला खत्म होता है। पैराबोला में आपके पास मोस्टली कुछ इस तरीके का क्वेश्चन आएगा. You will be given certain conditions about the parabola. You have to identify which type of parabola it is, and then solve accordingly to find out the value of it. Right. Now, after parabola, we have to study about ellipse. So ellipse is your third third figure from conic sections. And just like circle and parabola, it also has a concept related to it. Like in circle, the distance from each point to the center is equal, and the distance is known as radius. Similarly, in ellipse, the distance of each point lying on the on parabola. So if we talk about parabola, the distance each point on the parabola each point lying on the parabola have same distance from the focus and the fixed line, which is known as directrix. So that was the concept related to parabolas. Now coming to the ellipse, if I talk about ellipse, first of all, how is it shaped? So you generally see these two types of ellipse only. First of all, there are many types of ellipse. How would an ellipse look like? Okay, if you squeeze a circle, so let's say this is a circle. If you squeeze it horizontally, अगर आप इसको थोड़ा दबा दोगे horizontally, तो ये कुछ ऐसा हो जाएगा, right? And if you squeeze it vertically, तो ये कुछ ऐसा हो जाएगा, right? So या तो ऐसा होगा figure ellipse का, circle, squeezed circle, you can say. Either some of this kind, तो ऐसे कुछ बन रहा होगा. This is known as vertical ellipse, and this is known as horizontal ellipse. अब ये ellipse कहीं भी हो सकता है, but हमें जो पढ़ाया जाएगा, जो हमारे syllabus में ellipse है, वो only two kind of ellipses are there, and which are also known as standard equations of ellipse. First is this one, and second is this one. This is known as horizontal ellipse, and this is known as vertical ellipse. हमारे सिलेबस में तो सिर्फ यही दो तरीके के ellipse हैं. This is known as horizontal ellipse. This is known as vertical ellipse. दिखने में तो होगा ऐसा. Now let's talk about what is the concept behind it. Ellipse में भी कुछ constant होता है क्या? Just like circle and parabola. क्या हमारे पास ellipse के लिए कोई relation है? Yes, we do have the relationship. So we have these two fixed points. If it's horizontal ellipse, तो जो ये x axis है, देखो x axis की लेंथ ज्यादा है इस केस में. x axis पे ellipse की लेंथ ज्यादा है and y axis पे ellipse की लेंथ कम है. So this let's say this point is A and this point is B, and let's say this point is C and this point is D. So AB is known as major axis. जिस axis की लेंथ ज्यादा होगी. Now what is axis? Axis the line of symmetry. जैसे parabola में आपने axis देखा, तो axis was line of symmetry. So if you say axis is x-axis, it means that parabola was symmetric about x-axis, right? Similarly, if I talk about ellipse, it is similar both. It is similar about both axes. It is similar about x-axis. It is symmetrical about y-axis. So if you take this y-axis as mirror, this CAD is the mirror image of CBD. And if you take x-axis as the mirror, then ACB is the mirror image of ADB, this portion. Right? Hence, this ellipse is symmetrical about both axes. So it has two axes, x-axis as well as y-axis. But x-axis is bigger, hence AB will be known as major axis and CB is known as minor axis. Okay. Can you tell me, in this case, in the case of vertical ellipse, what is major axis? In the case of vertical ellipse, what is major axis? मैंने आपको हॉरिजॉन्टल वाले केस में बताया मेजर एक्सिस AB है क्योंकि AB की लेंथ ज्यादा है, राइट? एक्सिस वो होता है जो लाइन ऑफ सिमेट्री होता है. नाउ एक्स एक्सिस वाई एक्सिस दोनों के अबाउट सिमेट्रिक है, बट क्योंकि एक्स एक्सिस वाले की लेंथ ज्यादा है तो मेजर एक्सिस जो है वो AB को बोला गया, एक्स एक्सिस को बोला गया. सिमिलरली, कैन यू टेल मी व्हाट इज द मेजर एक्सिस इन केस ऑफ वर्टिकल एलिप्स? What are the axes in vertical ellipse? पहले तो ये बताओ कौन कौन सी दो एक्सिस हैं यहाँ पे?
Sir, CD and AB.
AB and CB, correct. Now, which one is major axis and which one is minor axis in this
Sir,
case?
major is CD and minor is AB.
Correct. So AB is minor axis in this case, and CB is major axis in this case. Right. Now, if we talk about an ellipse, तो ये थोड़ा oval shape जैसा दिख रहा है. And now let's talk about major axis. So major axis has these 2 points as F1 and F2. known as foci. The plural of focus, foci. F1, F2 are foci, right? So for an ellipse, you have one of the foci, two of the foci for an ellipse. And if you take any point, you take now any point on this ellipse. Let's say you are taking this point P, right? And you are finding out the distance of P from both of these foci. And let's take another point Q and find out the distance from both of these foci. Then the sum of these two distances would be equal. So every point which is lying on this ellipse is following this property, that if you find out the sum of distances from that point to the two foci, then that will be equal, which means that PF1 plus PF2 is equals to QF1 plus QF2. Similarly, AF1 plus AF2. Similarly, DF1 plus DF2. So you take any point on this ellipse, this sum of the distance would always be same for every point. That is how an ellipse is defined. So these were some basic terms. And let's now write the formal definition of ellipse. So ellipse is the set of all points in a plane. It is given in the NCERT only. An ellipse is the set of all points in a plane, the sum of whose distances from two fixed points in the plane is a constant. This is what is known as an ellipse. And whatever this sum is, like whatever the value of PF1 plus PF2 will get, that will always be greater than F1, F2. Now F1, F2 is what? This distance between the foci. So जितना भी distance होगा दोनों foci के बीच में, उसकी value कम होगी इस वाले sum से. ये इसकी एक प्रॉपर्टी, राइट? और जो भी फोकाई का मिड पॉइंट होगा, यानी कि ये, इसको हम बोलते हैं सेंटर. So O is known as center. Now this O can be anywhere, but अगर O हमारा ओरिजिन से अलग कहीं होता है, यानी कि अगर मैं कोई ऐसा एलिप्स बनाऊं जिसका सेंटर ओरिजिन पे ना हो, तो वो स्टैंडर्ड इक्वेशन में नहीं आएगा. बट आपके सिलेबस में सिर्फ स्टैंडर्ड इक्वेशन ही होगा. Hence we only have the center as 0,0. हमारे पास इसके अलग कोई पॉसिबिलिटी है ही नहीं, right? Hence the center, this O is known as center. दो फोकाई होंगे, तो यहाँ पे दो पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट है, this F1 and F2, right? और अब छोटी छोटी और एक दो बातें कर लेते हैं. And also about how do we find out the equation. तो एक तो तरीका है कि आप फाइंड आउट कर लो, मतलब आप डिराइव कर सकते हो पूरी इक्वेशन, या फिर दूसरा तरीका है कि बहुत सिंपल, आप अपने कोऑर्डिनेट्स याद रखो बस, राइट? एंड माइनर एक्सिस और मेजर एक्सिस का ध्यान रखो. आपको पता होना चाहिए माइनर एक्सिस क्या है, मेजर एक्सिस क्या है, राइट? और उत्ते से हो जाए how to write the equation. Simple. हाँ जी, ये नोट हो गया है। कोई नोट कर रहे हैं तो प्लीज रेज योर हैंड। ओके, चलो फिर एक छोटी सी चीज लोग डिस्कस कर लेते हैं। तो देखो, यहाँ पे मेरे को पता है सेंटर मेरी एक्सिस एक्स एक्सिस वाई एक्सिस है, जो कि दोनों परपेंडिकुलर है, राइट? सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट सी फॉर अ मोमेंट नाउ। अब इन सबको हटा देते हैं। और ये सी से मैं F2 को और सी से मैं F1 को मीट करा, also removing this vertical one. So everything that has to be done with horizontal will also be replicated on vertical ellipse. Okay, vertical का सब कुछ एकदम exactly वैसे ही चलेगा जैसे horizontal ellipse करेंगे सर। We'll talk it about later on. पहले एक बार ये समझते हैं सही से। तो यहाँ पे हमें पता है ये वाला एंगल देखो 90 डिग्री है, right? This angle is 90, right? So this distance CF2 has to be equal to distance CF1, क्योंकि F1 F2 का तो मिड पॉइंट है वो। सो OF2 और OF1 दोनों डिस्टेंस इक्वल है। जो भी हो वो अलग बात है, बट हैं दोनों इक्वल, राइट? और CO तो कॉमन ही है। तो अगर मैं ट्राइंगल COF1 एंड COF2 दोनों में पाइथागोरस लगाता हूँ, तो इन दैट केस CF2 स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू CF1 स्क्वायर के बराबर आ जाएगा, because CF2 square is also equal to CO square plus OF2 square, and CF1 square is also equal to CO square plus OF1 square. OF1 square and OF2 square are equal, and hence CF2 square is equal to CF1 square, which only mean that CF1 is equal to CF2. Right? So one thing is that we can say that CF2 and CF1 are both equal. Similarity also we can say, or by congruency also see using argument. And we can also find out the relation between CF2, CO and OF2 using Pythagoras, first of all. Now I'm also defining it. How am I defining it? So your major axis is AB, right? If you talk about OA and OB, these are semi-major axes. Similarly, CD is your minor axis. In the same way, OC and OD will be semi-minor axis. Semi is basically to represent half, right? So whenever you say semi-major axis, it means the half of major axis. Semi-minor axis means the half of semi-minor axis. So your major axis is always represented as this AB. I mean, not AB, but your coordinates of the major axis would be represented as. So this would be some x coordinate. Let's say this is some a comma 0. Hence, this should be minus a comma 0. And let's say this c is 0 comma b. In that case, d has to be 0 comma minus. And let's say this f1 and f2 are also like this. So this f2 is c comma 0. F2 is c comma 0. Right? And f1 is minus c comma 0. I've given 3 variables to these foci, minor axis and major axis. 3 different variables, right? So I can write this C. I can write CF2 first of all. CF2 square is equals to CU square plus OF2 square. Now CF2 square is equals to CO square. CO square is B square because the length of CO is B. B square plus OF2 square. This would be equal to C square because the coordinate of F2 is C comma 0. So the length OF2 is C. Hence this length is root over B square plus C square. This length is root over B square plus C square. Guys, ask me if you have doubt anywhere, please feel free to ask. Okay, so now let's take one of the endpoint on major axis. Let's take B. Okay, if I talk about B here, right? If I talk about B, then B in this case will have a sum of distance. So let's say I'm calculating this C F1 and CF2. Right, CF1 plus CF2, which both are equal. Right, CF1 plus CF2 is equals to BF1 plus BF2. Can I see that? Yes, we have taught principle of mathematical induction in the class. I think you were
Sir,
not present that time.
yeah, sir, for me that chapter is deleted, I think.
Yeah, it's okay. If you know that is not in your syllabus, then you need not to prepare it.
Like, sir, for the yesterday's test, the 12th question was that I didn't know what to do, so I just wrote it as deleted for me.
It's okay. It's okay. Chapter is not that important. You have taught the chapter, but it's not that important.
Yes.
Okay, so for this question, I'm considering these 2 points B and C both lie on the ellipse. So I'm saying, I'm putting an argument that if 2 points which lie on ellipse, then if I find out the sum of the distance from the foci for both of the points, then this should be equal. Hence CF1 plus CF2 and BF1 plus BF2 should be equal. Now we know what is CF1 and CF2. CF1 square and CF2 square, both are B square plus C square. Hence, this value should be twice of root B square plus C square. And if I talk about BF1, then BF1 would be this whole distance OB plus OF1. OB plus OF1. OB is A and OF1 is C, distance C. Plus BF2 would be OB minus OF2. So we can write it as twice of root B square plus C square is equals to, we should have written it like this, twice of CF1 is equals to OB plus OF1. So OB is your distance of minus semi-major axis, which is A, plus OF1 is the distance from O to foci, which is C, plus OB is A, minus OF2, which is C. Hence, it should be 2A. Hence, it should be B square plus C square is equals to A square. B square plus C square is equals to A square in case of horizontal lines. What is A? Length of semi-major axis. What is B? Length of semi-minor axis. And what is C? Length from the center to foci. So basically, ये बताएगा तुम्हें फोकाई का कोऑर्डिनेट C, A बताएगा तुम्हें मेजर एक्सिस के कोऑर्डिनेट्स और B बताएगा तुम्हें माइनर एक्सिस के कोऑर्डिनेट्स. Guys, can you remove this? If bacha hai to please raise your hand. And if you have any doubt, please feel free to ask. Okay, in that case, let's start with the next part. So there is a thing called eccentricity. Eccentricity of an ellipse. Now this eccentricity is represented by E, and this E is equals to C by A. C, what was C? Foci. Foci, right? This is to represent foci. What was A? Semi-major axis. Right? So E would be C by A. Right? And now to write the standard equation, we can write it very easily. Now, how can we write this? So using the same concept that we were talking about, put out the heading as standard equation of an ellipse. So first we are talking about horizontal ellipse. Everything will be same for vertical ellipse, बस x और y में इंटरचेंज हो जाएगा. मैं समझाता हूँ कैसे. पहले हॉरिजॉन्टल एलिप्स समझते हैं. तो हॉरिजॉन्टल एलिप्स में हमें पता है कौन सा पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट है. सेंटर होता है, पर सेंटर का कोई बहुत ज्यादा काम नहीं है. पॉइंट इंपॉर्टेंट है फोकस f1 and let's say this is f2. This is second focus. These points are important, semi major axis and semi minor axis. So we know this point is a comma 0. This is minus a comma 0. हमेशा a का काम होगा semi major axis का. Now this point is b comma 0 and this is minus b comma 0 and foci is c comma 0 and minus c comma 0. Right? हमें पता है एक रिलेशन ऑलरेडी a square is equals to b square plus c square है. Right? We want to find out the standard equation of an ellipse. Standard equation का मतलब है we want to find out. Okay, let's understand this. What does we mean by to find out the standard equation of an ellipse? What we mean is that every point P which is represented as x comma y will follow this certain pattern or will follow this certain equation which will identify that the point is forming an ellipse. A point is lying on an ellipse. तो हमें ये बताना है बेसिकली कि इस पॉइंट का पाथ पूरा एलिप्स है. तो कौन सी कंडीशन ये पॉइंट हमेशा फॉलो कर रहा होगा. कंडीशन हमें पता है. कंडीशन होगी कि pf1 प्लस pf2 की वैल्यू let's call this point as a af1 प्लस af2 के बराबर होगी. हमने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले af1 एंड af2 दोनों निकाले हैं. pf1 में निकाल सकता हूँ यूजिंग डिस्टेंस फॉर्मूला. Right? So pf1 would be square root of x minus c, which is x plus c whole square, plus y minus 0 is y whole square, plus pf2. अगर मैं निकालता हूँ pf2, तो pf2 होगा x minus c whole square plus y square is equals to af1 plus af2. कितना हो गया af1 plus af2? अभी हमने निकाला था लास्ट प्रूफ में. सेमी मेजर एक्सिस से डिस्टेंस. अच्छा यार, ये देखो P, ये जो AF2 डिस्टेंस है, AF2, क्या उतना ही डिस्टेंस ये नहीं होगा? लेट्स कॉल दिस पॉइंट एज B. BF1 एंड AF2, क्या ये दोनों डिस्टेंस बराबर है?
Yes.
तो अगर मैं ये डिस्टेंस निकालना चाहता हूँ AF1 प्लस AF2, तो कैन आई राइट देम एज AF1 प्लस BF1, क्योंकि AF2 की वैल्यू तो BF1 के बराबर है.
Yeah.
So can I write AF1 plus BF1 as AB?
Yes, sir.
And AB is 2A. What I'm trying to say is कि अगर आप किसी भी सेमी मेजर एक्सिस के एंड पॉइंट से, सॉरी सेमी मेजर नहीं, मेजर एक्सिस के एंड पॉइंट से अगर आप डिस्टेंस निकालते हो F1 और F2 दोनों से, तो सम बार बार 2A आएगा. यानी कि A या B दोनों में से किसी से भी डिस्टेंस निकालोगे तो पूरा AB डिस्टेंस ही आएगा वो 2A. Hence this should be 2A, this distance. यहां से मैं इस एलिप्स की इक्वेशन निकाल लूंगा x स्क्वायर और y स्क्वायर. सबसे पहले तो मुझे इसे उधर लेके जाना चाहिए, x माइनस सी होल स्क्वायर प्लस वाई स्क्वायर को, और स्क्वायर करना चाहिए दोनों साइड इक्वेशन। तो ये बन जाएगा x प्लस सी होल स्क्वायर प्लस वाई स्क्वायर, and I have taken this root to right hand side and taking the square. तो सबसे पहले रूट उधर जाएगा तो ये माइनस हो जाएगा, right? So this is something like a minus b whole square. So this would be 4a square, 2a का whole square होगा 4a square plus this whole square would be square root हट जाएगा, this would be this minus 4a, 2a into 2 is 4a, root x minus c whole square plus y square. This is cancelled. Now x plus c square is x square plus c square plus 2cx. And this is 4a square plus x square plus c square minus 2cx minus 4a x minus c square plus y square. So this also gets cancelled out. So take all of this now towards left hand side. This is 2cx, this is minus 2cx, so this becomes 4cx minus 4a square is equals to minus 4a into root over x minus c whole square plus y square. Cancel out the 4 as well. So this is nothing but cx minus a whole square this is nothing but cx minus a square into is equals to minus a into root over x minus c square plus y square. So squaring both sides again. Squaring both sides again, we will get as c square x square plus a to the power 4 minus a square whole square minus 2a square c into x is equals to a square. This is x minus c whole square, which would be x square plus c square minus 2cx plus y square. Right? So this would be okay. So this would be c square x square. So if you multiply a square with minus 2cx, first of all, a square with minus 2cx, you get minus 2a square cx, and you also have minus 2a square cx here. So these two terms gets cancelled out, right? Then yeah, only these two terms. Then you'll have c square x square plus e to the power 4. You can also take out minus a square x square here towards this side, plus e to the power 4 minus a square c square. This is a square c square minus ay square is equals to 0. So this is, you can take x square common. This becomes c square minus a square plus you can take a square common. So this becomes a square minus c square minus ay square is equals to 0. So you can check this out. This c square minus a square becomes minus b square from this equation. If you use this here, right? So take b square into the left hand side and a square into the right hand side. So this becomes minus b square x square plus a square. This is a square minus c square. This becomes b square minus ay square is equals to 0. Hence, you can write as a square b square is equals to a square y square plus b square x square. Guys, you can check this out. I mean, if you're facing difficulty at any point, just ask me. You need not to remember this, you just understand this. So, नहीं है कि तुमसे कोई proof पूछ रहा है, but you have to understand how the calculations are going. You're using this formula a square is equals to b square plus c square in simplifying the process. Now divide the whole equation by a square b square. If you divide by a square b square, so you get 1 this side. यहाँ पे a square b square से divide करेंगे, a square cancel हो जाएगा. This becomes y square by b square, and this becomes x square by a square. तो बहुत ही सिंपल से लो. अब देखो ध्यान से सुनो. A है मेजर एक्सिस. जो मैं बोल रहा हूं अभी ये याद कर लो बिल्कुल. B है माइनर एक्सिस और C है फोकाई के कोऑर्डिनेट्स. C जो हमारा वेरिएबल है वो फोकाई का कोऑर्डिनेट देगा, राइट. A मेजर एक्सिस है, B माइनर एक्सिस है. जब हॉरिजॉन्टल एलिप्स है तो मेजर एक्सिस कौन सा होगा, x या y? जब हॉरिजॉन्टल एलिप्स है मेजर एक्सिस कौन सा एक्सिस होगा, x एक्सिस या y एक्सिस? अभी है ना मेरे सामने फर्स्ट केस में हॉरिजॉन्टल एलिप्स ही है. मेजर एक्सिस कौन सा है, x एक्सिस पे है या y एक्सिस पे है? एनीवन? No guys, this is not fair. ABs are my major axis. तो AB अगर मेरा मेजर एक्सिस है तो x एक्सिस पे वन मेजर एक्सिस. तो अगर हॉरिजॉन्टल एलिप्स है तो x एक्सिस पे मेजर एक्सिस है. a स्क्वायर आना चाहिए x स्क्वायर के नीचे, b स्क्वायर आना चाहिए y स्क्वायर के नीचे इज इक्वल्स टू 1. मेजर एक्सिस के नीचे मेजर एक्सिस, माइनर के नीचे माइनर इज इक्वल्स टू 1. Similarly, if we have a vertical ellipse, just a minute. Hanji, can I remove this? So this was all about horizontal ellipse. Equation होगी x square by a square plus y square by b square equals to 1. तो a square आएगा जो भी मेजर एक्सिस होगा उसके नीचे, b square आएगा जो भी माइनर एक्सिस होगा उसके नीचे, दोनों का सम इज इक्वल्स टू 1. राइट. a रिप्रेजेंट करेगा मेजर एक्सिस को, b माइनर एक्सिस को, c फोकाई. Right. Now let's talk about a vertical ellipse. So let's say we have this ellipse. This is a vertical ellipse. Again, same set of rules. A होगा हमारा semi major, I mean major axis. So this would be 0, a. This would be 0, minus. And this would be b, 0. And this would be minus b, 0. A major axis, b minor axis. Same. But इस बार फोका यहाँ पे होगी. So this is your f1, which is 0, c. And this is your f2, which is your 0, minus c. इस बार भी सेम ही रिलेशन होल्ड करेगा. a square is equals to b square plus c square. इक्वेशन बनेगी तो सेम. बस आपको ये ध्यान रखना है a किसके नीचे आएगा, b किसके नीचे आएगा. a मेजर एक्सिस है, मेजर के नीचे आएगा. b माइनर एक्सिस है, माइनर के नीचे आएगा. तो a स्क्वायर कहां लिखना है और b स्क्वायर कहां लिखना है बताओ. x square by what? a square or b square?
B square.
b square plus y square by a square. कि x axis इस बार माइनर एक्सिस है तो माइनर नीचे आएगा. बस मेजर चीज तो यही थी. अब तो छोटी छोटी बातें हैं, एक दो समझ ही लेंगे वो तो. Can I remove this? Okay. So one more thing is latest rectum. So just like parabola, there is a latest rectum in this case as well. Now latest rectum was what? Any focal chord which was perpendicular to axis. So if you take a horizontal axis, this is your focal chord, right? Because this point is your focus. Let's say F2. So this is your focal chord and perpendicular to axis. So this is your latest rectum. You can call this line AB. as latest rectum. And the length of AB would be 2b square by A. 2b square by A. Irrespective of whether the ellipse is horizontal or ellipse. इससे कोई मतलब नहीं है ellipse कैसा है, लेंथ हमेशा 2b square by A ही रहेगी. तो अगर हमें A और C पता है या हमें कोई भी दो पता है चीजें, तो हम A, B, C और E इसेंट्रिसिटी जिसकी वैल्यू थी C by A सब निकाल सकते हैं और लेंथ ऑफ लेटेस्ट रेक्टम. राइट, चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं. एक्सरसाइज 11.3 पेज नंबर 255. पेज नंबर 255 क्वेश्चन नंबर 1. चलिए जी, सबसे पहले तो मुझे ये बताइए क्या ये हॉरिजॉन्टल एलिप्स है या वर्टिकल एलिप्स है?
horizontal
हॉरिजॉन्टल एलिप्स. और ऐसा कैसे पता चला रहा मुझे?
shape देख के.
एक्स स्क्वायर के नीचे वाला कोफिशिएंट देखिए 36. क्या मुझे ए की वैल्यू बता सकता है कोई भी?
6
-6
एंड बीज
plus or minus 4.
yes, now they're plus minus 4, but in this case a is 6 and b is 4, and hence this can be compared with the type x square by a square plus y square by b square is equals to 1. So a is 6 and b is 4. So हमें कुछ कुछ बताना है. a पता है और b पता है. सबसे पहले तो क्या मैं c निकाल सकता हूँ a और b की हेल्प से? a और b की हेल्प से मैंने c निकाला. मुझसे पूछा गया कोऑर्डिनेट्स ऑफ फोकाई. क्या होते हैं कोऑर्डिनेट्स ऑफ फोकाई? प्लस माइनस c कॉमा 0, या तो प्लस c कॉमा 0 या तो माइनस c कॉमा 0. इसका मतलब प्लस माइनस 2√5 कॉमा 0. फिर पूछा गया कोऑर्डिनेट्स ऑफ मेजर एक्सिस. क्या होते हैं? प्लस माइनस a कॉमा 0 यानी कि प्लस माइनस 6 कॉमा 0. कोऑर्डिनेट्स ऑफ माइनर एक्सिस क्या होते हैं? 0 कॉमा प्लस माइनस b, which means that 0 कॉमा प्लस माइनस 4. vertices
So the vertex is going to be like a comma 0, right?
vertices are basically the endpoints of axis, endpoints of major axis. So what is basically an endpoint of major axis? Then length of major axis. So we know what is the value of A. So length of major axis would be equal to 2a, which means 12. Length of minor axis would be 2b, which is 8 in this case. Eccentricity, which is c by a. So we have c, and we also have a. Hence, eccentricity is root 5 by 3. And the last thing is length of latest rectum. So it was 2b square is equals to a. You know what is b square? It is 16 into 2, 32 divided by 6. Hence, 16 by 3 for this case. So this is how we can simplify an equation. Can you solve question number 4? Everybody tell me all these things. जब भी रेडी हो बता दो, हैंड रेज कर दो. 4th क्वेश्चन आंसर देने के लिए जब भी रेडी हो, ए और बी निकालो, सी निकालो, फिर फटाफट सब चीजों के आंसर निकल जाएंगे. चलो. Iram, will you solve the 4th question? First of all, identify which type of parabola and which type of ellipse it is, horizontal or vertical. Question number 4.
It's a vertical ellipse.
It's a vertical ellipse. Good. What is the value of A?
10,
And what is the value of B?
5.
Okay. Now let's tell me the value for C first of all. What's the value for C, Iram?
5 root 3.
5 root 3, good, very good. So what should be the value, coordinates of the foci?
0 comma plus or minus 5 root 3.
Correct. Then coordinates of the vertices?
0 comma 10.
Plus minus 10. No. Length of major axis and minor axis?
Length of major axis is 20 and length of minor is 10.
Correct. What is eccentricity and length of latus rectum? Eccentricity is C by E.
Root 3 by 2.
Root 3 by 2, correct. And latus rectum, length of latus rectum.
Five.
Correct. Good. Very good, Viram. Let's solve question number 9 as well. Everyone. Solve question number 9. Not 9th, sorry, my bad. Solve question number 7th. Everybody has to solve question number 7th. I'll ask the answer. You have 2 minutes. Fatafat solve karo chalo.
Sorry, can you repeat the question number?
Question number 7th, Safa. And as soon as you are done, Safa, just raise the hand. Rather, anyone of you. एक ही मिनट का क्वेश्चन है, फटाफट करो. हाँ जी, किस टाइप का पैराबोला है? हॉरिजॉन्टल या एलिप्स? हाँ, हॉरिजॉन्टल या वर्टिकल? किस टाइप का एलिप्स है? Sorry, yeah, correct, vertical. What's the value of A?
It'll be plus or minus 2, right? Like
6.
Sorry, plus or minus 6, sorry.
Yes, and what's the value of B?
2. Plus or minus.
Yes. Then what will be the value for C?
4 root 2.
4 root 2. What's the value of E, eccentricity?
2 root 2 by 3.
2 by 3, 4 root 2 by 6.
4 root 2 by 6. Then you can
Yeah.
simplify it as 2 root 2 by 3.
Yes. And what's the value of latest rectum?
4 by
Length
3.
of latest. 4/3 or 8/3, I guess.
8/6, right? Then
Yeah, sorry. 8/3. 4/3. Cool.
the
So I think, yeah,
major,
yes, sir.
sir, you want the length of the major axis?
No.
Okay.
अगर इतना निकाल लिया तो वो सही है. I know that. So you guys are good to go with the ellipse today. तो इस जो भी बचे हुए questions हैं, solve them as well. Try to solve them. और जितने भी होते हैं अच्छी बात है, नहीं तो कल वाली क्लास में आप डाउट्स पूछ सकते हैं. कल we will finish hyperbola also. So कल conic section will be finished, and we have to arrange an extra class in the coming week. So you guys decide, okay? Decide today and come with a possible date, okay? Tomorrow.
Sir, the miscellaneous exercise of this chapter is difficult, right?
Yes. I mean, it's not difficult, but it is important. So,
Like my teacher, she kept saying about it, and we just didn't do it.
no, we will solve it. We'll solve the whole miscellaneous exercise.
Okay, sir.
The one section of the class. Yeah. Okay, then we'll meet tomorrow and we'll cover the whole chapter. Miscellaneous exercise भी करेंगे, last topic भी पढ़ेंगे, और इसके कुछ बचे हुए questions भी करेंगे. आप लोग solve करके आइएगा questions. जो भी doubt हो वो मुझसे पूछिएगा. बहुत आसान है ellipse तो. थोड़ी बहुत problem जो आएगी वो hyperbola में आएगी. पर एक बार समझ आने के बाद